Want to be an expert in the sausage world? You'll need to know what's what between turkey and pork, especially if you're trying to make a killer breakfast gravy. Turkey sausage is literally just sausage made with turkey meat. It's a leaner variety that became popular in the 1980s, when low-fat foods were all the rage. The saturated fat of pork sausage was thus an unwelcome guest in many homes, so a poultry alternative was there to ensure that people could still get their fill of this culinary classic. The lack of fat in many brands means that cooking turkey sausage is somewhat different from cooking pork, though turkey still cooks up quickly. Thanks to its low calorie count, turkey sausage is often promoted in weight loss diets. It's easy to unintentionally increase the calorie count of the sausage, though, so you should be careful when choosing which brand to buy and how you cook it. Pork sausage differs from turkey mainly in terms of nutrition and taste. It's pretty much the classic version of American sausage meat. It comes in both cooked and uncooked forms, so you have to be sure you know what you've bought. When preparing pre-cooked sausage, it should still be warmed up to a safe temperature. Pork sausage has a well-deserved reputation for being fatty and greasy, as well as having intense flavor. It grills and fries up wonderfully, and you can use it in a variety of ways, from the skillet to an outdoor grill or as a sheet pan meal. It's affordable and easy to find, and it pairs well with most vegetables and grains, or other proteins like eggs in a breakfast burrito. One major difference between pork and turkey sausage is the fat content. Pork cuts generally contain a great amount of fat, while turkey doesn't contain much at all in the meat, but does have a greater amount in the skin. If you're eating turkey sausage, that's great news if you're trying to cut calories. But there's also a serious disadvantage. Less fat means less flavor. Turkey sausage definitely still has a fair amount of flavor, especially if it contains plenty of herbs and spices, but it won't be as robust as pork sausage. The melting fat surrounding the pork meat as it cooks produces a tantalizing smell and taste that simply isn't present to the same degree with turkey.
I thought it was a turkey, I swear to God!
If you follow a kosher or halal diet, or you just want to avoid pork, then turkey sausage might sound like a fantastic option. But be careful, as it can sometimes contain ingredients that aren't allowed in these diets. Some turkey sausage is actually a combination of turkey and pork meat. Commercial brands will of course list pork if it's an ingredient, so make sure to check the labels carefully. And then there's the issue of turkey sausage that was made in a kitchen that hasn't been properly set up as kosher or halal. Your best bet again is to always check the ingredient labels, and to search specifically for sausages marked as halal or kosher. Both pork and turkey sausage come in a variety of forms, such as links, patties, rings, and ground meat. Thus, you can find the right shape or form of sausage meat for your recipe, no matter what type of meat you choose. This is also good news if you want to make your own sausage but aren't keen on having to grind the meat yourself or mix up a spice blend. Instead, just pick up a tube of sausage meat and form the number of patties you need. If you don't like the casings used for links, ground meat might be the way to go. And if you want a lot of sausage but don't like the 4 or 5 link packages, you can find ring versions in a horseshoe or coil shape. Protein, fat, and carbohydrates are macronutrients, and fat is the one of those that really adds calories to food. Protein and carbohydrates have about 4 calories per gram, while fat has about 9 calories per gram. So because turkey meat doesn't have as much fat as pork, it typically ends up being lower in calories. However, there are 2 things that can make turkey sausage soar in calories. For one thing, some turkey sausage meat contains ground-up skin as well as the muscle, which increases the fat content. In fact, just adding skin to a piece of plain turkey can more than double the amount of fat. The second cause is that cooking can add excessive amounts of oil or other fat. So if you're counting calories, check the nutrition label closely and be cautious while cooking.
But next time, be careful!
You'll often find sausages flavored with different spices and herbs, such as sage or rosemary for turkey, or black pepper and garlic for pork. That's not to say, for example, that you can't use black pepper with turkey, or can't try to make one taste like the other. But if you buy packs of pork and turkey sausages at the grocery store, you shouldn't expect them to taste exactly the same. One notable exception to this guideline is breakfast sausage. Some typical breakfast sausage flavors are sage and maple. Commercial producers often use ingredients like natural flavors to enhance or change a product's taste. This makes it easier to make breakfast sausage taste the way that it's supposed to taste, no matter what type of meat is used. Neither pork nor turkey sausage tastes inherently better or worse than the other. It all depends on the flavorings and fats that are used, the cooking method, and everyone's individual palates. Maybe you have a very strong opinion on this matter, but there's really no way to objectively determine which one is better.
It seems that we are not all in agreement.
I disagree.
Nevertheless, the question of which type of sausage tastes better has generated some heated discussions. Some sausage lovers believe that pork's superiority is indisputably self-evident, but fans of turkey are quick to declare their love in spaces such as the Unpopular Opinion subreddit. Of course, the fact that they're expressing that opinion in an area dedicated to unpopular opinions implies that they already know that a lot of people don't agree with them. You could get caught up in this competition yourself, or you could just decide that there's room for plenty of sausage in this world. One thing that both turkey and pork sausage have in common is that cheaper cuts of the meats are typically used to make both of them. That doesn't mean that those cuts are bad by any means, and you can certainly have sausage that contains more expensive cuts. It's just not that common. The point of making sausage historically was to ensure that all edible meat could be utilized. While commercially made sausages are now formulated mainly with taste and the quality of the cut in mind, this origin can still be seen in the use of less expensive cuts. Pork sausage tends to use the leg, shoulder, and belly, all of which are tasty but comparatively inexpensive. Turkey sausage is often made with thighs, and it may also contain drumstick meat. Some turkey brands may mix in skin to increase the fat content and flavor. If you make turkey sausage patties at home using ground turkey, you'll most likely be working with a combination of thighs and drumsticks, unless you specifically look for ground turkey breast. Also, keep in mind that supply chain issues and laws requiring producers to change equipment may cause cuts in quality or price increases. Sausage has been around for centuries, but turkey sausage's status as a mainstream grocery product is a more recent development. If you go to most supermarkets today, you'll likely find turkey, chicken, and pork sausage all in the same section, but just a few decades ago it was very different. Prior to the 1970s, turkey wasn't eaten that frequently. It certainly showed up at Thanksgiving dinners, but it held only a small share of the non-holiday market. According to the National Turkey Federation, United States turkey consumption was only 8.2 pounds per capita in 1970. For comparison, in 2021, it was 15.3 pounds per capita. In the 1980s, the push for leaner meat and low-fat meals put turkey in the spotlight. Ground turkey became much easier to find in stores, and eventually, there was a push to turn turkey into sausage, and it ended up being embraced by the public.
Turkey!
If you look up a sausage recipe, you'll likely find pork sausage as the default main ingredient, unless you specify a different type of meat in your search. But considering that you can make sausage with any meat, why is this the case? A lot of it has to do with how the pork juice reacts with the fats. As the mixture heats up and the fat melts, when you cook meat, the proteins in the muscle portion lose water. This is why cooked lean meat can be so dry. But if you add in some melting fat during cooking, then you get a tasty, tender piece of meat. Pork has a great combination of fat and moisture that work together very well in cooking. Pork has another advantage in this area, as it has a sweeter aspect compared to other meats that helps preserve the flavor when curing salts and brines are added. Turkey doesn't have that advantage. While many turkey sausages are made with thigh meat, that's only slightly fattier than the breast meat, which is very lean. That's not a death knell for turkey sausage, but it simply doesn't have some of the same inherent advantages as pork. Most of the foods that we eat today are processed, at least a little. For example, a sliced apple is technically processed since slices aren't an apple's natural form. Many foods are ultra-processed, meaning that they've gone through substantial changes from their original form, often with the addition of artificial ingredients like flavoring. Much of the sausage available in grocery stores is considered ultra-processed because it's been cured with nitrates and nitrites. However, you can find sausages that are really just ground meat with spices, thereby making the processing minimal. The past few years have seen a backlash against processed foods. Companies have removed a lot of artificial ingredients and replaced artificial additives with more recognizable substances, such as adding beet juice for color. It's common to find brands that claim that their sausage contains no added nitrates or nitrites, which gives the impression that they're less processed than conventional sausages. However, those claims are often accompanied by an asterisk stating that the product contains celery powder, which which naturally contains nitrates that our bodies convert to nitrites. If you're trying to find minimally processed sausage, look for options that are just ground meat and spices without anything like celery powder. Despite their differences, pork and turkey sausage are generally interchangeable. However, there's one dish where pork makes the preparation much simpler: breakfast gravy. Traditional breakfast gravy is easy to make. Just brown some sausage, use the resulting drippings to form a roux with flour and milk, and mix everything together. Fat is necessary for the very structure of the roux. Without enough fat, you can't make the gravy, and pork sausage is fatty enough to usually produce enough drippings. You can make good breakfast gravy with another type of sausage meat, or even a non-meat product. But whatever you use in place of pork sausage has to be cooked in extra fat, such as bacon fat, shortening, or butter. This is essential to produce enough drippings for the roux. If you can't have pork in your diet, then don't worry about it. But if you do eat pork, then use it, because it eliminates the extra steps of finding the right type of fat that will taste good with your sausage substitute. One notable exception to this rule if you're making the gravy in Australia. The pork from down under tends to be too lean compared to American pork, so ground turkey may actually be the way to go for best results in that case.